Math Day kiddos. This is our first lesson for those of you that are remote or on your off day today. So make sure you have your digital notebook open for this week. It should be posted along with this video. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that now and get that pulled open because you're going to need to type several words in as you go. So make sure you get that taken care of. There's going to be a lot of pausing in this video because you're going to need to type. So I really suggest if you can split your screen so you can see this video and your digital notebook at the same time if possible, or you can pause and just kind of go back and forth because we're going to have a lot of words we're going to have to type into our digital notes today, okay? So feel free to pause and get yourself situated, and when you're ready, go ahead and click play, and I'm going to get started. So just take a moment and think about where you think these words will go. I will show you the correct placement on the next slide, and we'll do that a couple times with a bunch of different words. But we're just talking about, like, we've got some words, what operation would they go with? So you should have add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then parentheses on your table in your notes. So we've got add, take away, minus, times, plus, more. Take a moment and just think, where do you think those words would go? And then I'll show you on the next slide, and you can take some time to type them. And I'll talk through them. All right, let's take a look and see. Well, so again, you need to pause the video and type it, but also when you do unpause, make sure you listen because I explain a couple of these. Most of these are straightforward on this first slide, but then I will tell you about them in case you're not sure why they go there. But if you need to pause to start typing, that's fine too. So obviously for addition, we're going to have add, and then plus and more. Those are all three words signaling addition if you were to see it written as words, which we'll use later on in this unit. Take away and minus are both subtraction words. So if you take something away, you're subtracting it, and obviously minus. And then times is multiplication. Those all should have been fairly simple for you. We will look at some more difficult ones as we keep going. Again, pause as needed, but I'm going to go on to the next slide. And feel free to rewind if you need to as well. So how about these words? We've got product, remain, difference, twice, dropped, doubled, per, and quotient. So just take a moment and think about where you think those words would go, which words would go into add, subtract, multiply, divide, or parentheses. And then I'll show you on the next slide. All right, let's see where these words go. And again, you'll have to pause to type them in. So we didn't have any add words or parenthesis words at this point, but we did have some subtraction words. So remain, that'd be kind of like leftovers, so that's going to be subtraction. Difference, if you find the difference of something, you're making that comparison, and so you're subtracting to find that difference between the two numbers. And then dropped would be something going down, so that would also be subtraction. Product would be multiplication. I think maybe we mentioned that we have two factors being multiplied together, and the answer to a multiplication problem is product. Twice and doubled are kind of the same thing. Twice and doubled mean that you're multiplying by 2 specifically, but it means multiplication. And the word per is also multiplication, like if it's $2 per pencil or something like that. Okay? And then quotient is the answer to a division problem. So we got dividend divided by divisor equals quotient. So those are all those words. Again, rewind or pause as needed. Let's look at a couple others. So we got split, every, sum, lost, gave. Where do you think those words might go? Take a moment, pause if needed to think about it. Well, here's where they go. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. Okay, S-U-M, sum like that, means addition. Lost or gave are going to both be subtraction. If you lost something or gave it away, you're subtracting it. Every, it actually could be either multiplication or division. It kind of depends on the situation. So if I say, like, I have 2 chairs at every table, well, then I would take the 2 times however many tables I have. But occasionally you might see every used with division. Like, I gave every person, well, gave would be subtraction, but I mean, like, if I have, 20 pieces of candy, and every person got 4, how many people could I give it to evenly? Okay, you could do it like that. Typically it'll be multiplying, but it could be used for division. And then split would be division, like split, especially if I'm splitting it equally or splitting it evenly. Okay? Let's look at a couple more. Make sure you get all of these down. Pause as needed. And then here's a bunch of different phrases. These are all kind of combinations. So you got times the difference of. Think about what those would mean and where that might go. More than, fewer than, shared equally, groups of, less than, and times the sum of. Just take a moment to think about where you think those would go. And kind of think how some of them are worded and where maybe we haven't had as many yet. All right, let's take a look. Well, more than is going to be add. That's just like if we were saying more, but more than would make that comparison. Less than and fewer than are virtually the same thing. That would be subtraction. You're subtracting it. You're saying less than this. Groups of would be multiplying. You have groups of something, okay, for everything. Shared equally would be divide because we're divvying it out for each person, so shared equally. And then these two phrases, times the difference of and times the sum of, is signaling parentheses because when you say times the difference, you're not just doing times one number, you're doing the difference means subtraction. So you have two numbers being subtracted, then you're multiplying. So you're multiplying by both of those, so you're signaling parentheses. We'll talk more about that later in this unit. And same with times the sum of. Sum means addition, so you're multiplying by both of those numbers, that sum, that addition problem. Okay? So again, pause or go back if needed, but make sure you have all those down. If you need to change the font or give yourself some more space, that's fine. Just make sure you have all those typed out. There is a Kahoot posted on Google Classroom if you would like to play that. It would just be on your own, but you have that choice to play that and practice these words if you want. That's optional. Only homework is to do extra math, but you can do that Kahoot if you'd like. Okay? Go back and look at anything if needed, but otherwise you have an awesome rest of your day. Get that extra math done.